What if a fullback not only defended but became an offensive powerhouse, even scoring a hat trick in a top-flight league? Meet Sidny Lopes Cabral. Hi, I'm Leah, feeling curious and excited to dive into today's topic.
And I'm Garrett, ready to explore this fascinating football journey. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. All right, let's set the stage for this one. Sidny Lopes Cabral went from Germany's lower divisions to Portugal's top flight, then to the World Cup, and along the way, he redefined what a modern fullback can look like. That's pretty cool, right? Here's a thought I've been turning over. I'm into urban exploration, and once I wandered into this tiny ground behind an old mill, like one of those local fields with a dozen people and a snack stand. Game going on. I watched this defender who kept switching sides, bombing forward, then sprinting back to put out fires. It clicked for me that some players can do the quiet glue work and still light a match in attack. So when I saw Cabral's story, from lower tiers to scoring and assisting at big clubs, it brought me back to that day. Versatility kind of feels like a secret door in football. Once you find it, the whole building opens up.
Let's open the book on this. Sidny Lopes Cabral is a professional footballer known for being a fullback, which is a wide defender who guards the flanks and supports attacks. He can play on either side, left or right, which is huge for squad flexibility. He was born in the Netherlands to parents from Santiago, Cape Verde, so he was eligible for Cape Verde through family ties. He chose Cape Verde, and that choice became a defining part of his arc. What stands out is the speed of his rise, from Germany's lower leagues to Portugal's Primeira Liga, which is the top division in Portugal, then into the World Cup spotlight. It's the kind of ladder climb that shows how football hierarchies are more open than people think.
And he didn't just appear out of nowhere. He sharpened his foundation in Sweden at Helsingborg's academy. For anyone wondering, an academy is the youth development setup where clubs teach technical skills and tactical basics. That time gave him strong habits in transition defending and overlapping runs. Then he went to Germany. We're talking Rot-Weiss Erfurt first, with minutes in the NOFE Oberliga Süd, that's the 5th tier, and then the Regionalliga Nordost, the 4th tier. He was already sneaking in goals as a defender, which hinted at what was coming later. It's like you see a carpenter square off a board just right, and you know they've got the fundamentals to build a whole table. Yeah, that checks out.
Okay, let's move on to the part where his trajectory bends upward. After Erfurt, he stepped into Viktoria Köln in Germany's 3 Liga, which is the national 3rd tier. Reports out of Köln credited him with helping stabilize their defense. Stability for a backline basically means fewer chaotic moments and better positioning. He brought recovery pace, which is the speed to sprint back and fix danger after pushing forward. The numbers even list a few continental appearances and goals at Köln, which is unusual because 3rd-tier German clubs don't play UEFA competitions. That likely means those matches were miscategorized friendlies or regional cups, not Europe nights. Still, the gist is he was durable, trusted, and growing.
Speaking of which, the real breakout hit came in Portugal. In summer 2025, he moved to Estrela da Amadora, a Primeira Liga club in Lisbon's orbit. Estrela gave him license to push high, overlap, and arrive late in the box. He put up 5 league goals and 2 assists. And here's the head-turner, a fullback hat trick away at Casa Pia. A hat trick is 3 goals in a single match. For a defender, that's wild. You don't see that every weekend or even every season. That's one for the memory bank.
Why do you think that clicked so quickly for him at Estrela? I mean, defenders scoring 3 in a top flight is not normal.
2 reasons jump out. First, system fit. Estrela's setup gave him width and timing patterns, so his forward runs weren't random. Second, he's 2-footed enough to be comfortable on either flank, which makes defenders guess. When you can cross or shoot off both sides, you tilt the geometry in your favor. Add in his pace and composure in the box, and you've got a defender who sneaks into striker spaces at the right beats.
That run at Estrela turned heads fast. By late December 2025, Benfica came in. Benfica is one of Portugal's giants, known worldwide for scouting and selling talent. The reported fee was about €6 million, with add-ons potentially taking it to 8.5. Add-ons are conditional bonuses like more money if the player hits certain targets or the team reaches specific achievements. He signed until 2030, and days later, in January 2026, he debuted. He came on and assisted Vangelis Pavlidis, a Greek striker, to complete a hat trick against Estoril. Instant impact.
Then in January 2026, he scored his first Benfica goal in a 4-0 win against his former club Estrela. For me, that's the adaptability. New club, big crowd, different demands, still finds a way to affect the game. When players do that, you kind of trust their transitions. It's like switching from hand tools to power tools and still keeping the craftsmanship clean. No stress.
Meanwhile, internationally, he's wearing Cape Verde's blue. Cape Verde draws from a large diaspora, meaning people with Cape Verdean roots who grew up abroad. He got his first call-up in 2023. Then 2025 was a big year. He scored in Malaysia in a friendly at Kuala Lumpur and later in World Cup qualifying in Tripoli, Libya. These are away or neutral settings, which can be tough due to travel and unfamiliar conditions. It shows a kind of portable game where his skills translate no matter the setting.
He even found the net in Auckland, New Zealand, in the 2026 FIFA series. Then, in the 2026 World Cup, head coach Babista called him into the squad in May 2026. In the round of 32 at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens against Argentina in extra time, Cabral curled an equalizer. Argentina eventually won 3-2, but that goal stuck. These are the clips that live on highlight reels for years.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Some outlets called it one of the best goals of the tournament. That's an opinion, not a formal award, but you can feel why people said it. Timing, stakes, technique. And soon after, in June 2026, Benfica agreed to transfer to Trabzonspor in Turkey's Super League for a reported fee of around €10 million. That's a jump from the winter fee. Market value rising quickly often tracks with big stage moments.
Let's dig into that market swing. When a fullback can defend and generate end product, you hit a premium. Clubs want wide players who can invert into midfield or overlap to provide width. Cabral ticked those boxes at Estrela and Benfica, and then put a stamp on it at the World Cup. The price tag going from about 6 to 10 million in half a year says the market believed not just in potential, but in immediate return.
And we should add a family note. His older brother, Sidny Lopes Cabral, also plays for Cape Verde. Siblings in the same national setup can bring a shared intuition. Even off the pitch, you get built-in support. For international windows, where teams gather for short bursts, that chemistry matters more than we admit. Time to introduce a thorny question. Calling that World Cup strike against Argentina one of the best goals of the tournament sounds great, but it's not tied to an official ranking, award, or a clear poll. So how do we judge it? Is it fair to anoint it that way, based on vibes and coverage alone?
I hear you, but I'll make the case for the buzz. Media coverage and fan reaction function like a decentralized rating system. When a moment cuts through the noise on social feeds, highlight shows, and international outlets, that tells you it resonated. It's not a trophy, but it's cultural evidence. The technique on the curl, the game state in extra time, and the underdog factor against Argentina. That cocktail makes a goal feel elite, even without a formal ribbon on it.
I get the cultural weight, truly, but without a structured yardstick, like a panel of judges or an official shortlist, it's hard to rank anything definitively. What if someone values a 30-pass team move over a solo curler, or a long-range rocket over a tight-angle finish? We're measuring art with a ruler. It's meaningful, but also slippery.
Totally. Maybe the better frame is impact rather than best. Did it shift perception? I'd say yes. It elevated Cabral's profile and probably nudged his market value. Scouts and executives are human. They watch the same reels. When a defender provides a high-leverage goal on the world stage, it confirms that their ceiling includes decisive moments, not just safe passes and tackles.
So we land on this. It was one of the most impactful moments of his tournament, maybe of the entire event's narrative for underdog stories. Best is subjective. Impact is traceable, and the downstream effect is visible in his swift move to Trabzonspor. Pop culture note. That goal ended up everywhere. clips on sports shows, social media edits, reaction videos. When a play becomes a reference point beyond hardcore fans, that's pop culture territory. It puts a name like Cabral in conversations with people who might not watch full matches, but they definitely watch the moments.
Okay, counterfactual time. What if he had chosen the Netherlands instead of Cape Verde? The Dutch talent pool at fullback and wingback is deep. Breaking through could have taken longer or maybe not happened at all. On the flip side, the Netherlands play big tournaments regularly, so if he did break in, the stage is huge. But would he have had the freedom and trust to take the same risks? That's a real question.
And choosing Cape Verde brought immediate purpose. He's part of a national project that relies on diaspora players, people trained in Europe who carry that experience back. That pathway gave him earlier caps and the runway to score in friendlies, qualifiers, the FIFA series, and then the World Cup. If he'd gone with the Netherlands, maybe he waits longer for a debut, and maybe that extra time equalizer against Argentina never happens. Different door, different hallway.
There's also identity and family in the mix. With Rodney already representing Cape Verde, there's a bond and a shared mission. Sometimes the right choice isn't the shinier one on paper. It's the one that puts you on the field, feeling trusted, and lets your game breathe. And for Cabral, that decision unlocked a path from lower leagues to a World Cup memory that honestly feels storybook.
Thanks for joining us on this journey with Sidny Lopes Cabral.
Stay curious, and we'll catch you next time on Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.